I saw him kissing my wife's neck and I froze. The scene played out like a slow-motion car crash, my mind struggling to process the betrayal unfolding before me. Elaine, my wife of 10 years, leaned into him, her eyes half closed, lips curled into a smile I hadn't seen directed at me in years. The man, tall, broad-shouldered, radiating smugness, pressed his lips to her skin as if he owned her. I had come home early to surprise her. My project at work had been postponed, and I thought we could spend the evening together, rekindling the spark that had faded over the past few months. Instead, I found this. My first instinct was to burst into the room, to confront them, to demand answers. But something held me back. Maybe it was the shock, or maybe it was the quiet, cold rage beginning to coil in my chest. I backed away, careful not to make a sound, and retreated to my car. Sitting in the driver's seat, I clenched the steering wheel, my knuckles whitening. My heart pounded, not with sorrow, but with an icy determination. I wasn't going to act on impulse.
No.
I would plan. My revenge would be methodical. It would be thorough. And it would leave no doubt about who had the last word. The setup. For the next few days, I played the role of the oblivious husband. I smiled at Elaine, kissed her goodnight, and even complimented her on the new perfume she had started wearing, no doubt chosen to impress her lover. Inside, however, I was anything but calm. I began gathering information, starting with her phone. While she showered one evening, I unlocked it. I had learned her passcode years ago and found exactly what I was looking for: messages between her and a contact saved as Emily. The texts were anything but innocent. They painted a vivid picture of their affair, plans for secret meetups, flirtatious banter, and even photos of them together. It was all there. Evidence of her betrayal in digital black and white. But one message in particular caught my eye. Can't wait for our weekend getaway. He'll never know. They were planning to spend the upcoming weekend at a lakeside cabin. The same cabin Elaine and I had visited years ago. The audacity of it stung. But it also presented an opportunity. If they wanted a romantic getaway, I'd make sure it was unforgettable. The execution. On Friday afternoon, I kissed Elaine goodbye as she rolled her suitcase behind her. "Work's going to be so busy this weekend," she lied, her voice smooth and practiced. I watched her drive away, then grabbed my own bag and set off in the opposite direction. Or so she thought. By the time they arrived at the cabin, I was already there, hidden in the dense woods surrounding the property. I spent the day preparing, ensuring everything was in place. The cabin's isolation worked to my advantage. There would be no one to hear what was about to unfold. That evening, as they settled in, I watched through the windows. They cooked dinner together, laughing, stealing kisses, completely unaware of the storm brewing just outside. My hands itched to act, but I waited. Timing was everything. When night fell, I made my move. First, the power cut out, plunging the cabin into darkness. I had tampered with the fuse box earlier, ensuring they had no way to fix it. Panic set in quickly. Their voices rose as they stumbled around for flashlights. That's when I started the noises. A distant rustling here, a faint knock there. Just enough to unsettle them. I let their fear build, savoring the way the man's bravado faltered, his voice tinged with uncertainty. Elaine clung to him, her earlier confidence replaced by apprehension. Then, finally, I made my entrance. The front door slammed open, and I stepped inside, a flashlight illuminating my face. "Good evening," I said, my voice calm but dripping with menace. "I hope I'm not interrupting." Elaine's face drained of color. "Elliot, what are you doing here?" "Oh, just thought I'd check out this lovely cabin," I replied, letting the sarcasm hang in the air. My gaze shifted to her lover, who stood frozen, his hand gripping a fireplace poker. "And you must be Emily." He didn't respond, his eyes darting around like a trapped animal. "Relax," I said, stepping closer. "I'm not here to hurt anyone. At least not physically." I placed a folder on the table. Inside, you'll find copies of every incriminating text, photo, and email. It's amazing what you can dig up with a little effort. And don't worry, Elaine, I've already sent a copy to your boss. I'm sure your coworkers will be fascinated by your extracurricular activities. Elaine gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. You wouldn't. Oh, but I would, I said, my smile razor-sharp. And that's just the beginning. Turning to her lover, I added, I've also done a little digging on you. Imagine my surprise when I found out about the embezzlement. You really should have been more careful with those company funds. The authorities will be very interested in your weekend plans. His face turned ashen. You can't prove anything. Can't I? I countered. You'll find the evidence in your inbox. Consider it my parting gift. Elaine burst into tears, pleading with me to stop, to reconsider. But I felt nothing. You made your choices, I said, my voice steady. Now you live with the consequences. With that, I turned and walked out, leaving them to their ruined evening. Outside, the cool night air felt like a balm against my skin. I had taken everything from them without lifting a single finger in violence. And it felt far better than I had imagined. The aftermath. In the weeks that followed, I finalized my divorce, ensuring Elaine walked away with as little as possible. Her lover, true to form, fled the country to avoid prosecution. As for me, I moved on, my conscience clear, my heart surprisingly light. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. I had served mine with precision, leaving no doubt about who had truly won. And as I rebuilt my life, I did so with the knowledge that sometimes justice is best delivered with a smile.